Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. As always, Scott Carson here as your host. I'm excited to be joined in our WCN offices with Catherine Brennan. What's going on?
Oh, thank you for having me here.
We're glad to have you. Catherine is one of our newest fast track coaching students who was up in Dallas for the NoteExpo and came down. Instead of flying back to Chicago in the Windy City and flying back here, she came down and has been working on her business here in the offices, which we have that open for any mastermind student who wants to hang out here for a while, but also kind of get some things prepped for this weekend's fast track training, right?
Absolutely, yep.
Now, Catherine, for those that don't know who you are, we labeled this the Mind of a Realtor episode because we're going to talk a little bit about more stuff on dealing with realtors and things like that as well. But why don't you take a second, because you've got a really great history of being a phenomenal realtor in Chicago and all the stuff you sold up there. I don't want to take away any of your thunder, so let's dive into that a little bit, huh?
Yeah, so I've been a realtor since 2004, an active realtor in the city of Chicago, mostly the north side, and I've sold about $125 million worth of real estate, and I've done about...
That's a lot of...
You would do
there
that.
You go. There we go.
And almost 400 transactions.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. Over how long?
2004, so 14 years.
Wow, that's almost roughly somewhere between 8 and 10 million a year for the most part.
Yeah. So I probably do about 20, on average, about 25 deals a year.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good. And the north side, we're not talking Chirac, right?
Yeah. So the north side. So think of the Loop, think of the Gold Coast, Streeterville, Wrigleyville.
That must be tough being a big Chicago White Sox fan, though, huh?
So I worked for the White Sox for a long time, but I still love the Cubs.
Oh, wow.
I know that's hard. People think that's that's evil of me, but it's not. I love the Cubbies.
That's good. That's good. There, go Cubs. So one of the great things is been an active realtor for years. What attracted you to the note investing space?
So we've been, I know, and I'm not quite sure where to look.
There you go. Just look right here.
Okay,
there you go.
Perfect. We've been investors. So we've invested in, 5 single family homes since 2013. And, there's some mistakes that we made. I wish that we hadn't just focused on single family homes, but actually looked into multi-units. What's interested us in the note buying space is I want to kind of insulate our equity. And we're not doing that so much with the single family homes. We have maintenance costs and then we have our taxes. So the state of Illinois has a pension problem. We're about 125 billion with a B pension problem.
Wow. So
we're going to be subject to an increase in taxes, and there's nothing that we can do about it. That's out of our control, like the maintenance issues, those are out of control, or if tenants leave or things like that. So the note space just sounds like there's a little more insulation if you can get the notes performing. And that sounds really interesting. We can sit back more and not be on call.
You want to basically where you've got the stuff rolling in versus to go out and find your next sale and your next transaction and go from there, and then find a deal that actually is cheaper for you versus buying it traditionally or retail wise or a little bit below value as an REO, but not quite the discounts that you're getting with notes.
Yeah, I like that. And to your point too, I like almost forming a relationship with a bank or a hedge fund and having that be more of a source of leads as opposed to the one-off mom and dad selling their house.
Now you've had a couple conversations the last couple of days though with asset managers too, right? How's that been different for you?
Well, it's a new conversation and I'm learning the lingo.
Was it easier than you expected though?
Oh yeah, it's been easier than I expected. It wasn't as intimidating as I thought it would be. Now I know I have some experience because I've been in real estate, so I can talk that, but still it was good. I felt like I'm learning.
It was a conversation, just two people talking about, and primarily the asset managers are asking you kind of what you're looking for.
Yep. Yeah.
Pricing expectations, markets, if you're looking for performing, non-performing, kind of what you're looking for as in bulk purchases or the amount you're looking to fund, that kind of stuff. We've got the notes up on the board up here.
Yep.
But it's just basically, okay, we've got stuff on our books every quarter, every month, and we're hey, glad to send it over to you, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it wasn't as intimidating. Now, it really helped that I've been listening to your podcast since June.
That does. She's hang on, binge worthy here. Let's figure something on that. We don't want you to get all scary here and run screaming there.
Well, yeah, so I've had you in my ear at the gym, in my car. Your show is on a lot, so
we keep cranking it out there.
Talk.
And you've been here too to see some of the episodes the last couple of days that we've been heavy scheduled and stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to get stuff on the board so I can take Thanksgiving week off and then also the holidays off, but still crank out content during the holidays when you want to listen to me versus the in-laws. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sounds smart.
But the thing is, you're in Chicago. Chicago is an interesting market.
Yes.
Right? Totally. It's like the tale of two cities for the most part.
Absolutely.
North side, pretty much normal market, right?
Yep.
What's the south side? We talking like Cicero, 55, the highway that runs through there, or no?
Yeah. So, Cicero, north, South Street. So south side, you can go down to maybe like Hyde Park. But then we have the west side too. Mm-hmm. So the west side, to your point, west of Cicero, so Inglewood and those neighborhoods, they're a little rougher.
Right.
Yeah, they're a little rougher.
A couple years ago, we were driving through there looking at stuff, and I guess down by the University of Chicago.
Yeah.
Obama was planning on building his presidential library down there.
Yep. Yeah, that's big.
It's big. Have you seen the market kind of regentrify down that neck of the woods?
Yeah, and I think there's some opportunity zones down there too. So you're seeing more money going into that area. And I don't even know why it wasn't already just this amazing space to invest, because you have the lake right there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you have the lake.
Right. And we were seeing a lot of the 3-story older townhomes get bought up, rehabbed, go from there. I honestly think Chicago makes a better play as an REO investor than it does for a note investor, because of the fact it takes forever to foreclose.
Yeah.
To evict, it takes another act of God to have that happening, because they know that the spots out there, I mean, the tenants often know the laws will drag it out, and then the judges aren't quick to enforce it either. So many people heard me talk about Chirac and hating Crook County, but other parts, you got Lake County and other areas of Illinois is great and stuff like that. And other parts of Chicago are great as well. It's just that it's a rough time down there.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know what's going to make that change. I mean, our reputation around the country really is about our crime and our crime stats. And, the city obviously is so much more than that. But I don't know what it's going to take to make that area better.
Making America great, one mortgage, one block at a time. Right?
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to have you on here, Catherine, is because what's funny is we get some realtors that come through here, come through our classes, stuff like that. It's funny. Years ago, my actual workshop was approved for continuing education. 15 hours of CME credit.
God, I wish that still existed.
It takes me a couple of phone calls and a couple of things to sit back
Good,
up
I'll
there.
sign up for my credit.
There you go. But what one of the things I wanted to bring on is because one of the big difficulties that a lot of note investors have is reaching out to realtors to get them to go out and look at property, pull CMAs, pull comps, and kind of explain what's going on. So that's why I thought it would be great, instead of the mind of an investor, talking to a realtor who's got a decade of experience plus, talk about what goes through a realtor's mind when they get a phone call from an investor.
Well, first and foremost, investors are welcomed. I think realtors really like to work with investors because, one, you're lower maintenance. And what I mean by that is, more than likely, if you're working with an investor that has a listing, that listing is going to sell. So if you're going to put in your time, your money, your effort, at the end of the day, you're going to get paid. And that's not something you always get with the homeowner. So that's really good. Also, to have a listing and an investment listing in a seller's market, which Chicago still is, and I know other parts of the country are too. Again, that's money in the bank. That's going to sell. So you welcome that phone call. And also when you're working with an investor, if I'm going to when I put forth the data, when I'm collecting the data and I'm giving them the market times and month supply and all of that, they really understand that. So it's a much easier conversation and a much less emotional conversation.
That's true emotional, because they're not looking to live in this, and they're not worried about the paint being the wrong color or the carpet. because most investors are like, we're going to rip that out and redo that anyway for the most part.
Well, yeah, and they're not invested in like, I picked the most beautiful granite in the world, and why doesn't everybody in the world love my beautiful granite that I chose? They're not as emotionally invested in it. So you can have a very succinct conversation.
So what are some tips that an investor should do when they're calling up to trying to find an agent to either drive by a property, pull a CMA? What are some tips that you would give them to when talking to a realtor for the first time?
I would say, be upfront about what you're looking for. You would, one thing that I'm having a hiccup with, as is that it's hard for a realtor to think about not walking into that property, because we're all about, comparing granites and hardwood floors and all things like that. So to do what's called like a drive-by appraisal is a little bit different for most realtors. But just, tell them what you're looking for. Tell them that you probably need a range of what the price would be, and to take as many pictures as they possibly can, and but give them additional data. So month supply, days on market, those type of things, original list price to final sale price, so you can determine where your property could sell.
And then should they always do like a square footage above or below to get a better range for stuff like that?
Yeah. With single family homes, like a price per square foot. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. It's hard in Chicago to do a price per square foot because we have all sorts of different inventory, but you could get an idea.
So Bed Bath, kind of, if it's the house where like we get a note on a spreadsheet.
Yep.
It's 1,000 square foot. Hey, I don't care if you're pulling properties are 1,500 or a couple hundred below, just to get a better range. This is a 3-1 and 3-1 that's 900 versus 3-1 that's 1,000.
Yeah. Kind of
give them a little bit of range, but just share with them what they're doing. And then the biggest question I always get is, well, do we pay? Do we offer to pay? Is that good to do? Is that everybody wants to get paid besides
So that I struggle with that, actually. Listening to some meetings that I've been to, I've struggled a little bit with the thought that somebody would just call them and ask them to do something without paying them, or at least ensuring that there's going to be something at the end of the day. So as a realtor, I would ask you to pay them.
That's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great thing. It's just that some people go, I want $200 to pull a CMA. Well, I don't really need you. That I can find pretty much online. But $50-$100 for an hour of work. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say so. Know that there's different kinds of realtors. Okay.
That's a good point.
Somebody who is a top performer, top producer in their area is the realtor you want, but is not going to be the one who's going to accept $50.
Sure.
So I would try to hone in on somebody who's very hungry, who's maybe has a year under their belt, has maybe done at least 10 deals, and would be really excited to get to know an investor and to get involved in, say, like a community like this, where we say, hey, I'm looking for a realtor in Columbus. They know they're going to get other referrals. And for that reason, maybe you want to touch in with that person. But a top producer could work too, because they tend to have minions.
That's true. They have other team. The team is working. So maybe calling a local team office.
Yeah.
And then getting the admin on the phone saying, here's what I'm looking for. Somebody new. I'm an investor in the area. I'm looking at multiple assets.
Yeah.
I know that the top broker is not going to take the time to do it. They don't have the time.
Right.
But somebody in there that's got some time to help out.
They have a listing, usually some listing agents and some buyer's agents, and you can get in touch with them that way.
Cool. Yeah. And then paying them via the PayPal or dropping a check or. I always find it funny that I would think that, especially in today's world, when you're running comps, things like that, I would almost say it would be worthwhile to send the realtor a Square account. Oh, you know what I mean? Send it, hey, here, that way I can give you a credit card or the phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything for us to do that. You know, you're going to get a little but you at least get paid immediately versus waiting to the very end. I'm
excited by an Amazon gift card.
Oh, Amazon gift card. There we go.
I mean, everybody shops on Amazon. So
these days, exactly.
Yeah, so that's an easy thing to send.
That's a good. Oh, yeah, you can very easily do it via email and stuff like that. Hang on a second. Amazing Amazon. We're going to use a hashtag in there for that one.
Amazon's going to love that plug.
Hashtag Amazon bucks. How's that sound?
Yeah.
So what are other some things that people should talk to or bring up? Because one of the big things we get is when we give a property address, say, hey, I need somebody to drive by, take a look at it, and then the realtors come back and say, well, this house is not listed for sale.
Okay.
And I'm like, yes, I understand that. I'm the bank on this, looking to buy this as part of a bulk portfolio.
Yeah. Well, I think you just have to make them understand and just be forthright with that information. So we're the bank. A lot of realtors are already familiar with an REO situation. Right. So I don't think you really have to explain that, but if you have to, then you do. Mm-hmm. And just give them your criteria, what you're looking for. I think at the end of the day, they just want to know that for their effort, they're going to get paid something.
Right. And I've paid realtors anywhere from $50 to $400. Now, the $400 was one that drove by like 9 properties on a Saturday.
Oh, nice.
She took pictures, pulled the tax listings, and sent comps. And it was actually one of the best that I paid. I didn't buy any of those because she's like, listen, I don't think these are good deals for you.
Sometimes that's the best money spent.
Amen to that. And so and I reach out to her for anything I'm buying in Jacksonville, Florida now. She's my go-to agent and make sure she gets paid. Yeah. She's handled working with rehabbers and running crews and stuff like that. Because a really good agent, a really good team should have some contacts for maybe not huge repair and stuff, but some good general maintenance cleanup crews.
Yeah. So what do you do when somebody is managing that for you? How do
it varies. Basically, they'll usually collect bids for me.
Okay.
So usually get 3 bids.
Yeah.
And I'll ask them, hey, who have you worked with in the past?
Yep.
And they'll usually tell me. So usually, okay, great. And then what I do is I'll literally send the money to the realtor a lot of times.
Okay.
And then they'll manage that. I have one realtor in Florida who actually manages a lot of rehab. So I actually pay him 10% extra.
I was wondering that. Okay.
10% extra to help manage the project off of what we end 10%. He gets his commission, realtor listing commission. He gets 10% of the profits of what I did, which he loves it. But I love it too because he's managing all the headaches, right?
Yeah. So he's almost like your GC in a way.
He is. Exactly. He is. And he knows the market. He drives by all the assets for me. I don't have to pay him on a per asset fee anymore.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's going to make money on it, or I'm going to feed him a deal or 2 here and there.
Yeah.
That makes sense for him too.
Right.
So what questions for you guys that are out there watching on Facebook Live out there or Be Live here today? What questions do you have for somebody who's got over a decade of experience? You've worked with investors before as well too, right?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Doesn't mean bombard her with all this contract for deeds or firstly, hey, can you run by the hood for me, Catherine, and take some photos? Don't be doing that to Catherine. We like Catherine. We don't want to send her deep into Chirac.
But if you are going to the South Side, then why don't you find a realtor in the South Side? I mean, real estate is so local.
True.
Right. So I know the North Side inside and out. You can name a corner and I'm going to know what that corner looks like. I'm not going to know the South Side at all. So you want to choose very locally. At least that's.
And especially getting the bigger cities. I totally agree. Like here in Austin, people know downtown, but they don't know Round Rock.
Right.
Or they don't know up here where we live.
Yeah.
So it's good to get people to know about the Lake Travis, you know, $1 million, but they don't know what a condo is going to go for down in.
Right.
Down off of South First Street.
Yeah. I always laugh when I'm like someplace else and somebody says, what do you think this is worth? Like if I'm in Columbus, Ohio, I'm like, I have no idea. It's so local.
It totally is. It totally is. Now, one of the great things too, you gave some great nuggets about finding a team, find somebody that's hungry and working out with them. And I'm a big believer that you don't end up closing on that deal. You still need to send something like we talk Amazon bucks or a bottle of champagne, or wine or something like that, or just communicate with what's going on.
Yeah. Communication is key. Yeah. Yeah. So if you've hired somebody, if you've hired a realtor and you've gotten the information you need, just follow up with them. I mean, we're all human. We just want to know what had happened. If the deal fell through, just tell us.
Right.
And just say, hey, next time around, as long as you liked them. And if you didn't like them, give them that feedback too. That's valuable.
It is valuable. What would you say if you don't like a realtor? Just be honest. Listen, I didn't like the fact that you took forever. You took crappy pictures at night instead of during the day.
Yeah. I mean, because you hopefully have laid out your criteria. And I know sometimes we just have to learn. So we make mistakes and we learn, but almost give them a checklist of what you are looking for. Be as specific as you can. And if they aren't able, and if they agree to it, and they didn't fulfill it, be honest with them. You're doing them a favor.
Sure. Would you say, especially that when realtors say that they'll run comps and get it in 24 hours and they never do it?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of that too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you want the good realtor. So that's why I say, go with a top producer, or even maybe get on Zillow to look for your realtor and look at reviews. You got some questions.
Reviews, yeah. We got a comment here from Michael Slaywin who says, doesn't Realtor rank, I guess Realtor.com rank agents by zip as far as volume?
Yeah. So you can find that if you on Zillow. You could also possibly go to the associations, the boards. So like ours is Chicago Association of Realtors, and you can look to see how many transaction a realtor has done, like where they've ranked. And
that's huge. That's a really good nugget. So go onto the board of realtors locally, type in a zip code, and it'll tell you who's.
No, I don't think it would do. What I would do is actually I would look at almost their awards. They have awards at the end of the year. They have that posted. Okay. Look at the awards. So somebody who is hungry is somebody who's doing like 10 to 20 transactions a year. Those are the ones you want to go for. Or like I said, the top producer.
And deal with somebody who's got a team to handle out with that. Okay, cool. That makes sense there. Good question, Michael. Appreciate that. Good stuff out there. Now, let's talk about this. So one of the things that you've had I asked you to this morning, what's been the biggest nugget from being here at the Fast Track, and what's been the biggest nugget you've gotten? No, we haven't been to the Fast Track yet, but just kind of hanging out here, being a fly on the wall. What's been the biggest thing for you?
Your social media drive. I mean, it's insane. I mean, the fact that you can just reach so many people by just doing this. Well, not by just, but I mean, 20 minutes of this once a day, a couple times a day, your reach is it's huge.
So you've also done some good stuff. You set up your MailChimp account.
Yep, I did.
You exported your LinkedIn connections, which is what, 1,400, 1,500, 1,600, how many?
Yeah, so LinkedIn now is up to 1,675.
1,675. There we go. That's good stuff. So question I have, you sent out your first email blast to your audience, though.
I did, yeah.
So that was the first time you've done that.
Yeah.
What kind of open rate did you get on the first email?
Okay, so the first email is 46%.
Woo!
Yeah.
Now, did you had a really great warm following of these 1,500 plus people, or it was a mixture?
It was a mixture. Okay. So, I've had a couple different lives, worked at a couple different places. So it was a mixture of that. But then I also had asset managers in there because I've been doing what you recommended. Like if I'm sitting there watching TV at night, I'm cutting, pasting. There
you go. Connect with asset managers. Got anything on your books? Anything in your books? And that's what led to a couple phone calls. Yeah. And people responding back to you. Good stuff. We got Michael Slain against truth out there. Now, that was the first round of emails, 46%.
46%.
You sent another one, a follow-up one email today, actually this morning at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
To the audience, the other 40% that had not opened yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had a 7% open rate there too, 7.6.
Yeah. By the time before we started this, it got up to 9.
Woo! 9% on the second round of emails.
Yeah.
So you're up at 55, 56%. Yep. Wow. That's really good out there. Did you get any more responses from that second round?
Anybody signing up? No, I haven't had anybody connecting with. Oh, I have one person connect with me. Yeah, but it's a friend.
It's a friend. Okay. But one of the things you did, we created a couple lists.
Yep.
Opt-in images in your email.
Yep.
The Note Nexus. Great name for an entity there. The Note Nexus.
But with the X that connects people.
That's right. But we took some time. We created a couple nice little infographics. We took one of the pictures of the houses that you had sold before. Mm-hmm. And then we created some nice little images like, your hot deals.
Yep.
And then we also your cool investments, right? And we posted that in the email that went out to the audience. You had a few people click on that?
Yeah. So I've had a total of 5 so far.
Okay. Yeah. 5 that have jumped into the investments or the hot deals. Do you remember?
I don't think they know the difference.
They don't know the difference. That's fine. That's fine.
Just signing up.
But you did have somebody reach out to you in Chicago, another realtor and investor based on his LinkedIn profile that said he's definitely interested.
Yeah, I have somebody there. Actually, I just had a second person today say they want Chicago notes anywhere.
Oh, anywhere in Chicago.
Anywhere in Chicago.
Very nice. Mm-hmm. And you happen to have a list we were working through too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good stuff. And you had some stuff from another mastermind student as well too.
I did, from Chicago. Yep.
Cool. Michael, I do sleep. Yes. Michael Slim and Scott, #Scott Cars doesn't sleep.
He doesn't.
I do. I I did. I dropped you off at your hotel file. I was back here for a coaching call last night. Wrapped up back home by 8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to bed at midnight and picked you up at 9:15 as far as running 15 minutes late. But anyway, so I do. I just try to maximize my time.
Yep.
So I can do one. If I can do one thing, I want to get it out to the many. And that was one of the great things that you realized. And we did that with the email, the 2 emails, one to the many, and be able to get those conversations back into you. Yeah. And then we set up your MailChimp. We set up a template so you don't have to really reinvent the email wheel every time. You got all the basic nuts and bolts in there. Yep. You did something that I think it really helped you stand out, though.
Okay. What did I do?
What did I do? So Monday night, I told you, say, hey, if you can, pull a list of all the properties that you've sold or been involved with in Chicago, several hundred of them, because we had to narrow it down to 200. Yep. And we just dropped in a batch geo. Yeah. And it made this really amazing map of the city that was more the stuff you've been involved with. Yep. Really powerful thing. Now, one thing I didn't tell you to do on that yet, which I would highly recommend you do, is I would go post that photo into your LinkedIn profile.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
And go say, LinkedIn allows you to post projects.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would just post that in there and say, hey, here's just a sampling of the deals I did. And you've done over 200. Oh, yeah. I mean, how many total homes or properties?
So I'm almost at 400.
Almost 400. So what I would do is take if you can sort it by zip code. Yep. And then do one batch geo for like the northern side, one batch geo for the southern side, and say, hey, and then you could even take that map and cut it together and so it's going to show a full listing.
Right. Yeah. It's a little challenge with that.
We can help out with that. Okay. But you can post that in your projects on your LinkedIn profile or on Facebook, or even when your website is finished, where the Note Nexus is finished, because that gives you really value. So when you look and say, oh my gosh, you do have a lot of experience. Yeah. It may not be a lot of note experience, but you got a lot of experience in one of the rougher markets. There's good parts of Chicago. Let me rephrase that. But it's a great boom. Here's my portfolio right here. Yep. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I know the markets I'm looking for. I can be, and not only am I interested in this area, but I can be an asset to the asset managers as well. Okay, good. So that's the thing to think about when you're reaching out as well. So we got some fan. Kristen Gurr says, hey, Scott, what's going on, Kristen, with Capricorn Mortgage? Kristen will be speaking next week, actually, on Note Camp 6.0. We're excited to have her. Looking forward to that. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. Kristen was a guest a few weeks back, and people are like, is she going to be on Note Camp? We're excited. Oh, good. Yeah, she's got some great stuff. She'll be talking about owner finance notes in Texas and how to structure them properly for sale. So we're excited to have her on as well. So there's that. You're, like you said beforehand, you're looking to transition more from the realtor side to more the investor side. Yeah. Yeah. What states are you looking at for yourself? What kind of markets are you looking for?
By close to us. Okay. So Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana. I don't know. What do you think of Wisconsin?
I wouldn't buy them at Wisconsin because the taxes are too high. Okay. They have high property taxes. So and then you don't want. It's cold everywhere up there anyway this time of year, but you really don't want to have a cheesehead indoor skating rink. Yeah. In the basements for stuff like that. If the copper goblins come in and go, but I think obviously. Illinois, you know that area real well. Michigan, you already found you've got family in one city already.
In Ohio, Columbus, Ohio.
We got, I had a little neat story. Bill Griesmer reached out to me this afternoon and said one of the benefits of the mastermind, Wayne Snell, had a court appearance in Columbus today. Oh, wow. Couldn't make it, so he had Bill go in his place, and Bill went in his place as a witness for a foreclosure auction today. That's fantastic. So really great little relationship out there as well.
Bill's such a great guy.
He is a great guy. We're excited for what he's got going on there. And he'll be on Note Camp as well, talking about some of his case studies and things like that in a panel come next week. We're literally a week out from Note Camp. It's hard to believe that. Some great stuff there going on. We are really excited. You found an asset. Why don't we talk a little about what you found about that asset? We don't want to disclose the address. Yes. Okay. So you found a contract for a deed you're looking at. Yep. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. What kind of homework did you find out about it?
Yeah. So it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and it's in Illinois, but it's outside of Cook County. Sure. And it's something that's interesting to me.
Okay. That's good. Do you remember what the value was that you were looking at?
Yeah, so that one was I think it was 32,000, and then the BPO actually was higher, like
Sure.
around 60,000.
Oh, so the value was 60, but the UPB was in the 30s. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And do you remember what the payment streams, they made any payments in the last 12 months?
Yeah, so that one had made, I'm looking at a couple other ones too, but that one I think had made at least 3 in the past year.
Okay. All right. And you have somebody that's going by to see if it's occupied or vacant right now?
Yeah, it says that it's owner occupied on the tape, but
we have to always verify that, right?
Verify.
And then what are some things that you would recommend if people are talking to agents about verifying occupancy? What are some of the things that you would say they should do or should not do?
I suppose it depends on where they are in
the
city.
Well, that's part of it. But what are some basic things people can do for the most part?
Well, I mean, you could talk to neighbors. I mean, I honestly have never done that. So I'll be honest with you.
That's okay. Great honesty.
So I would probably talk to neighbors. I know you've talked about looking at calling the utility companies, but even going so far as to look at the meter, right? You just to see if it's spinning.
Well, it was funny. I went by one property and the power was still on.
Yeah.
Meter spinning. Nobody was home.
Yeah.
They moved out of the property and never turned the power off.
Yeah.
So
I suppose to go knock on the door.
Yes, it would. But we did something interesting this week as well too. That you were a big help with us getting out our loss mitigation. Keep you in your home postcards as well too.
Yeah. So I mean, you can explain that.
Not really right here. They need to come to a fast track or be part of the WCM membership to do that. But we're trying to make lemons out of some lemonade,
right?
Or lemonade out of some lemons is a better way to put it.
Yeah.
That's some lower hanging fruit out there that we see out there. But taking a play out of being an ex-realtor or working with ex-realtors on what, direct mail campaigns to find assets, right?
Right.
Cool. Right. Good stuff out there. What other questions do you have for Catherine here? We should probably do a follow-up on Sunday when your brains exploded from spending 3 more days with me on a whiteboard.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
We're going to have a good time. We've got 7 or 8 people coming in for the fast track as a starting off tomorrow, going all day. We're going to take everybody down tomorrow night for some Stubbs barbecue in Esther's Follies down on 6th Street. Yes, you've been talking. Have you had any brisket yet since you've been here? I've been very good. I think
that's wrong.
I've been very diligent about sticking to my diet because I wanted to make sure and save it so that you had the first bite tomorrow night. You're like, brisket, very good.
He's been eating zucchini. I've
zucchini, vegetables, salad. My crazy rice mush thing yesterday was pretty good. But anyway, trying to be good. But Catherine, we're excited to have you here.
Oh, I can't thank you enough.
No problem.
What a joy.
Had a great time. I know that a lot of the mastermind members are also excited. Dan says brisket is healthy.
That's what I heard. Yes.
Yeah. I can't eat brisket anymore. It kills me too bad. It literally tears me up too much. So I eat a lot. I love brisket's my favorite thing to ever have.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And in Texas.
It's the best. Austin, Texas is the best. We're not going to go down to Franklin's, but Stubbs are pretty damn good. I think we've taken Dan down there before.
Okay, good.
So it's going to be a staple. And then Esther's Follies will be some funny tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But we're excited to have you here.
Yeah.
Great to mastermind. You came out to a fast track too. In Dallas just a few months ago, because that was we met originally. Well, we met online, and then I
went to Cincinnati
for the Ohio Midwest Note Summit.
Yep, and then I did the sneak peek with your mastermind group in Dallas.
What did you think of that?
Oh, that was. I mean, I'm here. I mean, I got so much out of those 2 days in Dallas, then followed by the Quest Expo. That I'm sold.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. We've got a really great group. We're very blessed. We have really great people. Dan, a bunch of people that are on here as well.
And I mean, everyone is saying, how can we help you? I mean, while I'm here, they're checking in to see how I'm doing and what I'm thinking and how's it going and how can I help you? That's crazy.
Yeah, we're very blessed. We've got great people surrounding us, and we'd like to keep it that way. So if you're interested, we do have our next mastermind coming up in December 7th, 8th, and 9th. If you're a note investor, it's something you probably should look around. And it's not going to be here in Austin. It's down in sunny Cape Coral, Florida. Down in sunny Cape Coral, Florida, December 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Westin Cape Coral Resort. So excited about it. If you'd like to, and you're on the fence about, well, do I want to sign up? Come on out for a sneak peek ticket. It's $1,000. Good for you plus a spouse or partner. Come out, spend 3 days with our mastermind group and get a really good chance to kind of expand your network and really see what our Note Mastermind and Fast Track training is all about. Cool. Yeah. So awesome. We're going to wrap it up with that. Catherine, once again, thank you so much. You've been a big help this week, knocking some great stuff out for us, honing on some great things as well, too, for us. So we look forward to your continued and exponential success.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Glad to have you here. All right, guys. Best way for people to get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you?
So Catherine at thenotexus.com, or you can call me on my cell, 312-613-8022.
That's that. Repeat the number one more time.
312-613-8022.
Catherine at NoteNexus.com, right?
Yep.
2 X's or 1 X?
1 X.
Awesome. All right, guys. Reach out if you have any questions and go make some offers, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.